I've been working as an architect, an urban designer, an urban planner. I'd call myself a community-based planner here in San Diego. And when I got involved in the Fukushima issue, or rather the nuclear issue in general, it was because I was watching the Fukushima disaster unfolding on television, and I was hearing news coming from our elected officials all the way up at the federal level, and they were telling us that there's no chance of any radioactive fallout at any dangerous levels reaching us here in the United States. I had a planning firm in the Caribbean for 8 years, and we had this event called Tequila Sunrises. And tequila sunrises are when the Sahara Desert has winds sweep across the surface of the desert and lift millions of tons of sand aloft. So high it gets carried in the jet stream, 6,000 miles across open ocean, and it descends on the Lesser Antilles all the way up into South Florida, Cuba and South Florida. And what it is these particles of sand, heavy particles of sand, travel across open ocean. And as the sun comes up, they look like fantastic sunsets. So I knew that, from my own experience, that large amounts of heavy material can travel thousands of miles across open ocean in just a matter of days. And I'm listening to this news coming from our officials, and I'm watching these nuclear reactors exploding in Japan. And I said to my wife, Lindsay, I think we're in trouble. The jet stream travels this way, and as I'm watching the weather reports, I'm seeing that the jet stream is swinging to the south. Usually it runs up farther to the northwest of the United States. For some strange reason, it was swinging down to the south. And I thought to myself, could this really be happening? 3 nuclear reactors in a critical stage, melting down, and I have 3 small children. I actually lived in Germany and Europe in '88 and '89, just after the Chernobyl disaster. And I remember the people that I lived with in Germany when I was working there scrubbed all their fruits and vegetables vigorously under the sink to try to remove the cesium-137 from the surface of their leafy greens and their fruits. So as I'm watching this happen in Japan, and I'm watching the TV, and I'm listening to the misinformation, I told Lindsay, I said, Lindsay, we need to get a Geiger counter. I don't think we're going to get accurate information from our elected officials. So we went out and bought a Geiger counter. I didn't realize that the fallout was going to come across the Pacific Ocean so fast. Well, by the time we got the Geiger counter, the first thing we did was we checked the food in our refrigerator, and sure enough, we had a gallon of milk, and we had probably consumed 3/4 of it. And I checked it, and the Geiger counter detected radiation. It was clicking kind of vigorously. And I looked at my wife and I said, I think we've been feeding our kids radioactive milk. And I think that's when I became active, realizing that these disasters can happen 5,500 miles away and affect my children in San Diego. So it was at that point I decided to dig into the research on my own and find out what's actually happening in Fukushima. And then it didn't take long before I turned my attention on the nuclear power plant that we have just up the coast here at San Onofre. It's right at the edge of North County, San Diego, South Orange County, about 30 miles from our house.